Hello and welcome to a handful of pups. So today's video is a little Easter kind of vloggy, kind of DIY-y, a little bit of everything. So the run up to Easter was really busy because I had some craft fairs, so I didn't get to put out DIY before Easter, so that's why there's a little bit of a DIY at the beginning. You'll see I made some bandanas for the dogs, my one for my hair as well. And a little sign because it was their first Easter. They also had some little treats and they didn't have it until a couple of days after Easter though. That's why this video is coming out late. But they didn't have the treat until a little bit after Easter because we forgot that we were giving them to them, and we gave them a full feed. We didn't want to overfeed them, so we left it a couple of days so that they could enjoy them. But you will see that in the video too. Amber really enjoyed her little treat as well, and the dogs got some new toys and they had a really good day. We had a good day as well. It was just me, my mum and the doggies, and yeah, it was a really nice day and I hope you enjoy. Start doing the doggy bandanas for Easter. I'll show you what I'm using first. So I've got some scissors, you know, just some bog standard shears. Got my little sewing set. This is a Merchant and Mills one. I love it. Keep it in this little box. It looks like this. Got my little scissors in there. I've got the one needle that I use and some spare needles right at the back. I always keep a white and a black thread in there, so it's ideal for everything I do. So that's good. Got those bits. I also have the bits that I got from boys to do it with. So I've got this fabric, which I thought was perfect for Easter. It's got little gnomes on it and it's got like Easter eggs. And then I got some ribbon to do finishing off on the edges. It's just a bunch of Easter eggs basically. And some pins. These are new pins. I do have some already, but I thought these were too cute because they've got little stars on them. And I'm using these as fasteners. You can use like Velcro or buttons. I'm just using these poppers, and they are the 30mm ones. So yeah, I'm going to keep those in the bag and the finishing tape in the bag for now. And I'm going to start by cutting the actual shape out. You'll see how I do it. I'll put instructions on the screen. And yeah, I'll do it like that so that it's not too long of a video. I hope you enjoy. So I started off by just folding my fabric in half and in half again, and you can see me just kind of freehanding my shape, making sure to make a little extra around the edges when I cut it out as well. There's a little seam allowance. I've pinned it down to keep it all straight, and I'm just cutting it out. And that's what it'll look like. Just taking all the pins out. And I'm doing this just so that I can pin it back down and cut the same shape out again to make the fabric shapes for the second bandana. I'm just kind of drawing the lines back on, so it's on all the sides, so I can kind of see where I'm folding and where I'm sewing. A little example of how it'll look there. Again, just kind of pinning around the edges so that it kind of stays together when I am sewing it. I'm using white thread as the fabric is predominantly white, and I'm doing just a really loose kind of running stitch around the edges, kind of a tacking stitch. This is just so that I can sew it a bit easier without the pins being there, but the fabric won't kind of like separate while I'm doing it. And I'm just taking the pins out again, and I am getting my thread ready I always get my thread and double it over just to make it a little stronger, add a little knot at the end, and I'm just doing a nice tight together short running stitch all the way around. River wanted to come and help then. River is definitely a mummy's girl and loves being by my side all the time and loves helping with little projects too. And as you can see, I've now sewn all the way around, just turning it inside out. Good way to get those edges out is just kind of roll it in your fingers and it'll just poke those little bits of fabric out and make it nice and flat. And then the little opening that's left where you pulled it through, I'm just gonna get some thread ready and I'm gonna fold it over and just sew it up as well. I'm doing kind of a little blanket stitch here just because it's easier with it being an outside sewing piece. It gives it less of a kind of flappy edge. And that's pretty much that bit done. I've gone to get the collar because at this point I realised it'd be easier to do it this way instead of with the closures, which is why at the beginning I said I don't use the closures in the end. And I'm just folding it over to where I want it to be on the bandana. And there's kind of some extra bits that are flapping around because I hadn't thought about it already. So I'm just cutting those off and doing the same as I did with the little opening and just making sure it's even and sewing those holes back up. A little hook break with blue. And there we go, I'm just sewing up those little holes there. At the sides, I have pinned them again just to make sure they're nice and straight. Always make sure to double knot them at the ends. I've done a little, I didn't show it, but I've done a little loose running stitch again, just tacking it over itself, leaving that gap that I made with the dog collar to make sure I can just slip it in and out. And I'm going in again and doing that nice tight short running stitch all the way along. Now, this is just the first way I'm showing you here. There is a second way that'll come up, but this is just the way to do it if you're doing it by hand, because I wanted to make sure that everyone could kind of do the DIY if they wanted to, whether they had a sewing machine or not. So this first way is kind of just how I do it with needle and thread by hand. It does take a little longer, but as you will see in the end, it can look just as good as when it's done by machine. If anyone wants to know what I was watching while doing this, I was watching my absolute favourite TV show, Bandana. I think I was on season 3 and it was very good. I think my parents were in the room at this point, so we were just kind of chatting about the show. And yeah, I mean, tell me in the comments what your comfort show is. Bandana is definitely one of mine. I can probably recite it word by word by now. And there we go, this is me just trying to make sure that it definitely fits through before I go any further, and it does. And there's a little idea. So I'm literally doing the exact same thing sewing wise, but this time I'm doing it on my machine instead. So it is inside out at the moment like it was at the very beginning, and I'm just sewing around the edges. I've already cut this one because I just kind of matched it up with the original one so that I don't have to do any of the outside stitching. Just gone all the way around. As you can see, it does get done a lot quicker, but like I said, it does look just as good doing it by hand. Cutting off any loose threads, turning it inside out, remembering to roll those edges still. And sewing up that last little bit. Folding it over. I wouldn't normally use pins, to be fair. I do tend to just kind of eyeball it, but for the sake of trying to get it to fit on the collar still, I did put some pins in. And there you go, all done. This is when I was kind of deciding how I wanted to sew my one, whether I wanted to do it as a big square or in a triangle. I did decide to do it in a triangle in the end, so I could either wear it in my hair, around my neck, and wear it in loads of different ways. So obviously you can see the triangle I cut was a lot bigger, but you are basically just folding your fabric in half, cutting out a large triangle. There's no specific kind of measurements, just however big you kind of want it to be. Fold it in half while it's inside out, and I'm just sewing around the edges, making sure to give about a centimetre seam allowance so that the stitching doesn't come undone really easy. And make sure when you're using your sewing machine, you do go forward and backwards on the beginning and the end of each run that you do. It will just make sure it doesn't come undone. Turning it the right way around and just doing the same as I've done on the dog ones. Turning that little opening in and sewing it. And there we go, it's done. So a big tip is iron, iron, iron. So if you're putting things like vinyl on, which I'll be doing, you want to make sure they are as flat as possible. It gives you a better surface to work with. And plus it gets rid of any creases that the fabric may have had as well, especially on the bigger bandana. I mean, I do end up rolling it anyway, but it does make it look a little better in the long run. And I don't show too much of the process with the vinyl because not many people have these machines. You can order vinyls online from people, but I just kind of designed what I wanted in the app and printed it onto my vinyl. The machine is amazing. If anyone is thinking about getting a Cricut machine, I would definitely recommend it. I use it for everything. So I've done two little vinyl pieces for the dog bandanas, and originally I was doing a piece for mine, but later on in the video you'll see I do change my mind. I decided that the likely way that I'd end up wearing the bandana would be rolling it, so it would just fall straight off if I put the vinyl on. Now, if you were doing this as a normal Easter bandana and not my first Easter one, I would definitely recommend using the heat transfer vinyl that you use on fabric so that it stretches. But because I knew they'd only be wearing them once, and if I wanted to kind of use the same bandana but put a more permanent vinyl on it, just saying Easter, meant I could take it off and it wouldn't kind of ruin the fabric at all. So the Easter vibes sticker and the Easter egg were meant to go on my bandana, but as I say, I changed my mind. So I had some wood laying around, so I decided to make a little Our First Easter sign, because I thought it would be cute to get a photo of them sat with it. You will see later on the video that it was a little harder than I expected to get them to sit long enough to take said photo. but we do get there in the end. So if people have vinyls already, or if you don't, the kind of process is you kind of weed out any bits that aren't part of the actual sticker you want to make, and use your transfer clear kind of sticky plastic to put it onto whatever you're putting it onto. Some of the bigger bits, like these paw prints that you see, I kind of could just peel them off and stick them on like any other sticker, because they were pretty big and they weren't too delicate. But words and really small pieces, it's a lot easier to use transfer, and this is how they look in the end. So this is me making the treats for Amber, because I didn't want her to miss out. She loves peanut butter and biscuits and all things naughty, so yeah, we've got a lot going on. So starting with the marshmallow, using majority natural peanut butter with the chunks and a little bit of stickier peanut butter as well. It is a bit messy, but you roll it between your hands, dip it in some honey or golden syrup, and then you roll it in the biscuit crumbs, and this means that it won't go everywhere when it gets put in your freezer, and it'll just keep its form better, and just plop it in your freezer for the next day. And these all last for weeks in there, they're absolutely fine. Just make sure the longer that they're in there, just leave them out a couple of minutes before you give it to them so it's not too cold. She really did enjoy these, as you can see, and she did eat the whole thing. This parrot can eat her body weight in peanut butter. So I'm now making the treats for the doggies, using some kind of natural wet puppy food, some natural peanut butter, and some natural vet style treats as well that are shaped like stars. They're awfully cute. And we're using lick mats. These are new. I've got a purple one for River and a green one for Blue. I'm just starting with the wet food, and I'm kind of just pressing it in so that it's a little harder for them to get it out. And this did count as half of their feed for the evening, so I wasn't overfeeding them. As you can see, there is dogs jumping up next to me every now and then. But yeah, half of that tub goes on, and I was kind of made it into the shape of a Easter egg. And then I was putting the peanut butter in the corners just for a little something sweet. And I went ahead with the little star treats. I'm pretty sure some were beef flavoured and some were chicken flavoured. And that's what it looked like.
Come here. Sit. Sit.
Did you already take a picture? Yeah. What the heck is that? As you can see, they really are enjoying these. I think River was less into it. I mean, she did enjoy it. She ate the entire thing, but Blue was 100% going for every single morsel that was left on there and making sure there was absolutely nothing left on the mats. And if they actually get there, then I can screenshot it. River, sit! Sit! Go behind the camera, quickly. Go behind the camera. Down, down, down. Okay, I think I got. Stay. 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 So this actually took probably about half an hour to get them to sit there but it worked in the end.
What's this? Sit.
There you go. Do it that way. You've got big puppy toys now. Don't worry, Amber. Alice has got something for you for later. As you can see, these are their Easter toys that we got. So in a recent video you did see that we got rid of the duck and the fox, and we removed them just so that I could keep them as they were, as their first ever toys. So this time round we got an elephant and a donkey for them. They do squeak and they've been really annoying us with them, but they do really enjoy playing with them. And yeah, they absolutely loved their gifts and their treats. They had an absolutely amazing day and they sat super well for their pictures in the end as well. You will see a little clip at the end of this video of all the pictures that we managed to get throughout the day. It may be a late video, but happy Easter. No, don't do that! So that was the video. There was a little bit of everything, as I say. There was a little bit of DIY. I did show you how to make the parrot treat as well. I will link down below anything else, like where to get the toys from, where to get the lick mats, where to get the treats that I use. The treats are really cute. So my dogs aren't too picky with food. Blue is fine with any. River does have a little bit more of a sensitive tummy, so the wet food that we used on the lip mat was like a zero, what was it, zero fibre, zero something. It was all natural. It was an all natural one. There was like 60% chicken, there was vegetables in it, there was a little bit of protein obviously with chicken, and a little bit of grain in there, and a tiny bit of omega-3 oils and things in it as well. So there's that one. It was a puppy one as well. The treats were little star shapes and they were really cute, again all natural ones, and they had some natural peanut butter on there as well, a lot of natural stuff because especially for their stomachs. So they really enjoyed those. They love their toys, as you saw, and Amber really enjoyed her treat as well. You'll see those two videos in there because she had two. She had one on one day, she had one on Easter, and one when the dogs had their lick mats. And yeah, it was a really good day. We did do other things on the day. You'll see another video coming out in the next few days. We spent some time doing a little bit of extra filming as well. And so we got lots done. We did have a walk in the daytime, but we didn't film it because it's just our normal walk. And me and my mum sat and watched the new Ghostbusters movie, and the doggies just kind of slept through the day hugging us, and they had a really great day. And it also marks the first day ever that they didn't do their business in this room. So we still have the puppy pads up in here, but we took them out a lot. We are getting used to taking them outside, and they're getting used to doing their business outside. But today was the first ever day they didn't do any wheeze, they didn't do any number twos, they did nothing in the living room. They did it all outside. So today marks the first ever day of that. So we're very proud of them. And yeah, that was the video. Go and follow them on Instagram, and go and follow my business page as well on Instagram and Facebook. You'll see some bits coming up resin wise and some bits coming up cricket wise, like the bandanas that you saw in the video. And yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. There's going to be lots of training coming up, there's going to be some DIYs coming up, lots of things coming, and some recreations as well. So make sure you hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!